Beneath the towering skyline of America's oldest cities, where bustling streets echo the footsteps of generations, a silent guardian has stood watch for centuries, the American elm, a tree that once defined the character of urban life, gracing grand boulevards and neighborhood lanes with its iconic vase-like shape and generous canopy. Picture a time when horse-drawn carriages rolled beneath arching tunnels of green, when shade from these majestic trees offered a cool respite on summer afternoons, and when community gatherings found shelter under their rustling leaves. The American elm, Ulmus americana, wasn't just a tree, it was a symbol of progress, endurance, and civic pride. Its widespread planting in the late 19th and early 20th centuries transformed it into the unofficial ambassador of America's streetscapes, lending charm, elegance, and an unmistakable identity to the nation's cities and towns. But this story is not just about beauty. It's about resilience, tragedy, and the tireless efforts to reclaim a national treasure. As you stroll through historic avenues from Boston to Chicago, echoes of the past whisper through the few surviving elms, veterans of a botanical war against one of the most devastating plant diseases in modern history, Dutch elm disease. Introduced to North America in the 1930s, this lethal fungus, spread by bark beetles, ravaged millions of elms, turning lush, green corridors into ghostly silhouettes of what once was. City by city, entire canopies vanished almost overnight, and with them, a piece of America's soul. Yet, despite the heartbreak, the American elm refused to disappear quietly. Hidden in protected pockets, some elms stood immune or simply lucky, and from these survivors, a new chapter began. Scientists and arborists across the country launched a crusade to save and restore the American elm, cultivating disease-resistant cultivars and replanting hope where despair once bloomed. Today, thanks to these efforts, the elm is staging a slow, quiet comeback. In parks, schoolyards, and along main streets, new generations of this classic tree are rising, carrying forward a legacy that almost slipped through our fingers. But what makes the American elm so special? It's not just its beauty, though the graceful, fountain-like form is undeniably stunning. It's its ability to thrive in challenging urban environments, tolerating pollution, compacted soils, road salt, and inconsistent watering, traits that made it a city planner's dream. With roots that dig deep and branches that stretch wide, the elm doesn't just stand tall, it embraces the space around it, offering shelter to birds, shade to passers-by, and a sense of place to entire communities. There's a reason it became the default tree in city landscapes. It's hardy, adaptable, and breathtaking in form, especially when planted en masse to create the cathedral-like canopy effect that became so iconic. For many, the elm holds a deeply personal significance. It's the tree that stood outside their childhood home, the one they climbed as kids or sat beneath on lazy Sunday afternoons. It's where couples shared quiet conversations and families picnicked beneath a green dome of serenity. It's a living memory. And that's why its loss hit so hard, because it wasn't just trees dying, it was history, connection, and continuity. Yet, the elm saga is also one of scientific triumph and community resilience. Institutions like the Morton Arboretum, the USDA Forest Service, and dozens of local forestry departments joined forces in a decades-long mission to fight Dutch elm disease. By studying resistant varieties and refining inoculation methods, they've managed to reintroduce robust strains like Princeton, Valley Forge, and New Harmony, trees that retain the elegance of the original while standing strong against the disease. These aren't just substitutes, they are living bridges between the past and the future. And as these new elms grow, they become symbols, not just of beauty and shade, but of second chances and what's possible when science, passion, and community come together. Across the country, restoration efforts are gaining momentum. Cities once devastated by Dutch elm disease are replanting elms alongside diverse species to create more resilient urban forests. Schools are using elm restoration projects as teaching tools, connecting students to ecology, history, and stewardship. Nonprofits are engaging neighborhoods in planting days, making tree care a communal act of hope and healing. And each time a young elm is planted, it signals not just the return of a tree, but the restoration of identity and pride. Beyond cities, the American elm also plays an important ecological role in natural forests and riparian zones. Its tall, arching form and deep roots stabilize soils, provide critical habitat for wildlife, and support biodiversity. Though it's often celebrated for its urban legacy, the elm belongs to America's wild landscapes just as much. In fact, the survival of wild elm populations may hold keys to developing even greater disease resistance in the future. From DNA sequencing to field trials, the science continues, and with it, our understanding of how this tree can thrive for generations to come. But beyond science, there's something almost spiritual about the American elm's return. It speaks to the human need to reconnect with what we've lost, to restore what was broken, and to find beauty in resilience. Every time an elm leaf flutters in the breeze, it's a gentle reminder of how cities once looked, of how they could look again, and of the natural world's astonishing capacity to heal when given a chance. As climate change intensifies and cities seek sustainable solutions, trees like the American elm offer more than nostalgia. They offer cooling shade, cleaner air, stormwater management, and improved mental health. In a warming world, the canopy isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. And few trees provide it with the grace and grandeur of the American elm. So the next time you walk down a leafy street and look up to see those unmistakable branches arching like a living cathedral above you, take a moment to appreciate the journey of a tree that almost vanished, of a nation that rallied to bring it back, and of the enduring power of nature to inspire, unite, and transform. The American elm is not just a city tree, it's America's tree, rooted in our streets, our memories, and our hearts. Its story is a testament to what we value, what we fight for, and how even in loss, there can be renewal. From the quiet strength of its roots to the dappled light of its canopy, the American elm invites us to slow down, to look up, and to dream of cities where nature and humanity grow together, not in conflict, but in harmony. And as more of these majestic trees are planted, nurtured, and protected, perhaps one day, every American city will once again be crowned by the green, sweeping elegance of its most classic and beloved tree.